Hello and welcome to another beachcombing adventure. This time we are in the Caribbean scouring the beaches for Seaglass gems. Our first gem is this beautiful piece of cobalt blue Seaglass. Cobalt blue is considered a rare color of Seaglass, and we can tell exactly where this piece came from. It's from a Vicks VapoRub bottle when they used to be made out of glass. Vicks stopped packaging their VapoRub in glass bottles in 1983 and switched to plastic. Wow, two absolutely gorgeous pieces of seafoam or Coke bottle blue Seaglass. Seafoam is one of the most popular colors of Seaglass, and most of it comes from vintage Coca-Cola bottles like this piece. This beach is exploding with Seaglass. Here's a neck of an old Coca-Cola bottle, a nice piece of green, and a really well-aged piece of honey amber brown. This piece is so thick. It's probably quite old and most likely from a glass insulator when they were used on telephone poles from the 1840s to the 1970s. This beachcombing trip was so exciting because I've never found so many pieces of cobalt blue. These pieces are most likely from the lip of Phillips Milk of Magnesia bottles. Milk of Magnesia is a laxative and an antacid which is still produced today. Okay, so we already found cobalt blue, and now we've spotted the elusive red. Red is one of the rarest colors of Seaglass that you could ever find, besides orange. And I'm unsure what this piece is from, but it could be from a boat light, maybe other maritime lights, a car taillight when they used to be made out of glass before the 1980s, or even red glassware. Red is so rare, and it's not the only piece that we're going to find today. Ooh, a beautiful piece of sage green. There are lots of different shades of green, but I love this piece because it's perfectly rounded and perfect for jewelry. So check out my Etsy shop if you want to see more Seaglass jewelry. Cobalt blue, red, and now a sea marble, and an orange sea marble. Sea marbles are rare and they're most likely children's playing marbles that were lost or discarded. Turquoise is also a rare color of Seaglass. It's not super common because of how hard it was to produce. The color is made by blending certain amounts of copper oxide with molten glass, but it's really hard to make the same color consistently. So it was mostly used to make decorative items like vases, bottles, art glass, or even patterned glass windows. This is a rare piece of cobalt blue and white Bonfire glass. Bonfire Seaglass is glass that was discarded into a fire or burned in a landfill before getting washed out to sea. I absolutely love this color. Aqua glass was quite popular in the mid-1800s and 1930s for mason jars, soda bottles, medicine bottles, and glass insulators. And aqua is actually the most common color used for glass insulators on telephone poles. Cornflower blue, and it's right next to a piece of cobalt blue. Cornflower blue glass is made by adding less cobalt oxide, and it was used to make bottles and pressed glass tableware in the 1920s through the 50s. I think this is easily my favorite piece of sea glass that I've ever found. Turquoise is my absolute favorite color, and it's aged perfectly with soft edges. I think it even trumps the small red gem right next to it. This is an interesting piece of white glass, probably from a glass block that's used in shower walls and room dividers. Green glass has many shades, including this gorgeous lime green. And this piece is so large and thick, it probably came from something other than soda bottles. A beautiful patterned piece of pottery. This is a shard of old European china or pottery. They're usually blue and white in color, but also green, red, purple, and many other colors. They're often found on the beach and near old sugar plantations throughout the Caribbean. Here's that other piece of prized red sea glass. I think this piece is probably from a glass taillight because of its thickness. To make the first red glass, glass makers used gold and tin, but nowadays it's made with cadmium and selenium to get the color. This is one of the best handfuls of sea glass because it's full of rare colors including turquoise, cobalt blue, red, teal, and lime green. Teal glass is even more difficult to make consistently than turquoise glass, so it's considered rare and varies in shade, and this looks like a well-aged piece. This is a piece of cobalt blue glass that is not well aged because of its sharpness, but it's from a vintage Noxzema jar, which is a skincare product that has been around since 1914. Ooh, a nice piece of thick sea foam, and this may be from a glass insulator due to its thickness. That is not a rock. It's a piece of perfectly aged, thick gray sea glass, most likely from a cathode ray tube TV. CRT TVs are the big bulky TVs widely used before flat screen TVs with thick layers of glass within the vacuum tube. This is a perfectly rounded piece of green for a nice pendant necklace. Most of the time, the deeper the shade of green and the thicker the glass, the older it is. There are so many different and beautiful shades of green. This is a thick and dark piece of green, most likely from the bottom rim of a wine bottle. And this is a very dark piece of black glass. Black sea glass is not actually black because when you hold it up to the light, it reveals a dark brown, green, or olive green color. Here's another beautiful and brightly colored piece of green, shining in the light so it's easy to find, but most likely from some sort of soda bottle or wine bottle. Brown sea glass is most likely from brown soda bottles like root beer, whiskey bottles, beer bottles, and old household cleaner bottles like Clorox and Lysol. Like other colors of sea glass, brown sea glass comes in many different shades. Once again, here is another piece of black sea glass that is not actually black, because when we hold it up to the light, we see that it's actually green. And this dark glass was desirable for preserving liquids like alcohol from spoiling in the sunlight. Oh wow, it's the shank of a glass stopper. The shank sits inside the neck of a bottle and closes the container. Glass stoppers were usually used on bottles like perfume bottles, decanters, and apothecary bottles. And bottles that were only used once, like wine or beer bottles, would be stoppered with corks or something less expensive than glass. This is a corner piece of an olive green case gin bottle made in the 1800s. Their unique shape allowed them to be packed and exported by the case to various European colonies like St. Croix. This is a huge piece of black glass. At first I thought it was a rock, but upon further inspection I actually think this is a piece of pirate's glass because of its thickness, and it has bubbles and imperfections in the glass, which means that it was hand blown. Black glass is associated with pirates because rum was often bottled in thick, dark bottles during the golden age of piracy. However, most black glass likely did not originate from pirates' rum bottles. The indent in the bottom of a champagne or wine bottle is known as a punt, kick up, push up, dimple, or shove up, but I think I like dimple the best. This is the bottom of a Schweppes soda bottle. Schweppes is one of the first commercial soft drink companies, and it was founded in 1783 to produce tonic water, soda water, and ginger ale. And we found a very old bottle bottom, most likely Pirate's glass because of its thickness, and it's full of imperfections. A sea coin! Sea coins are perfectly rounded bottle bottoms that resemble coins, most likely from wine bottles or soda bottles. Sea Marble No. 3 is most likely a cod marble, used inside of cod neck bottles to keep fizzy drinks carbonated. At first I thought this was just black glass, but this is actually a light bulb vitrite, which is a tiny insulator found on the bottom of incandescent light bulbs made in the 1900s. They're still produced today, but most modern light bulbs have replaced the glass bottom with acrylic. It appears black, but it's actually a deep purple color. Opaline glass is a beautiful decorative type of glass that originated in France during the early 19th century. It's often used to create bowls, cups, lighting fixtures, vases, perfume bottles, and other ornamental items. This very thick piece of yellow sea glass is an old furniture coaster or insulator, most likely used underneath the legs of pianos or other heavy furniture to avoid damaging floors. And that big beautiful red piece is most likely from a car taillight.